Welcome everyone. Welcome to the second week of Castilla y León box, July. Um, yeah, we're tasting this guy today. The one with the yellow kind of a cap. 2023 Raul Perez Ultreia La Claudina Bierzo Blanco. Bierzo Blanco is what we're tasting today. Uh, just a few announcements before we get into the wine. Case Club, doing the last call on Case Club. I'm gonna close it on Thursday at noon. So if you are planning on participating in the Case Club, get your orders in now. Um, so those are all the sherry wines that we got last month, tasted last month. Plus, I put all the Hidalgo, just one producer through their entire kind of it's not their all of the wines that they make, but at least the main styles that they make. For those of you who I don't remember who it was, maybe it was Sarah Thurman, maybe it was you, uh, Sam. Somebody was talking about they were really hoping to taste or they like the sweet kind of style sherry. There's a cream sherry that's on that thing that's actually super delicious. So you should try that. Anyways, there are a bunch of different styles, one producer, so it's a really good way to kind of taste through all the different really style. Those are like a benchmark wines, like Hidalgo wines. So check it out if you can, and then if you want. And then there's also a monthly champagne that I threw on there. Uh, it is a Premier Cru vintage champagne that I threw on there this month. So it's a baller bottle. It's quite strikingly good. It's not cheap. It's no Premier Cru vintage champagne never is. But yeah, it's a pretty damn good stuff. Especially for it's not cheap, but for what it is, which is a vintage Premier Cru champagne, it's actually not a bad price for what you're getting. It's actually pretty damn good value for what you're getting.
If
So
we
anyway,
emailed you, are we good, Un?
oh,
We
sorry,
emailed you like last week, and I just wanted to double check that we were good.
I did see your email come through.
Okay.
My laptop got wet and it died, so I've been going through a lot of.
No worries. I just wanted to check that we didn't need to do anything else and we
Yeah,
weren't going to miss the boat.
yeah, I
Okay.
got you. I
Okay.
got you. So there's that. Uh, I think that's it. Oh yeah, invoices went out today, as they always do on the 15th. So if you are planning on joining us next month, then just go ahead and pay the invoice. If you're not, just let me know so I can get that all settled. I don't know what the theme is going to be yet, but it is either going to be one of the three things, which is Liguria, which is the region in northwestern Italy that nobody really talks about. It's just under Piedmont. Myself included, pretty much very clueless about that region. So wanted to go there and check it out. And possibly it could be Sierra Gredos, which is this kind of a mountain range between Castilla y León and Madrid. Just outside of Madrid is this kind of a mountain range that runs through, and then there you find a lot of like a high elevation garnacha, which is Grenache. Really fun, kind of a different region. So that or I may do a horizontal, like a comparative tasting of Grenache or Garnacha. So it's going to be one of those three things, but I just don't know which one is going to come together yet. So, anyways, so sorry, I can't tell you the theme in case that matters, but it's going to be one of those three things. So, any questions about any of that before we get into the wine? Excellent. In case you're joining us now, we're tasting this guy. 2023 Raul Perez Ultreia La Claudina Bierzo Blanco is what we're tasting today. Cool. Let's start with a map, as we always do. Here we go. All right. So you saw this map last week. Should look pretty familiar. Where we are in Castile. Leon, which is this kind of a scattered green parts in the northwestern Spain. Where we were last week was in Tierra de Leon, where now it's called Leon, which is just under the city of Leon, right here, right? We tasted that Albarine white wine from last week. This is basically a giant kind of a high elevation plateau. Is Castilla Leon in general, particularly Leon, this is what it runs through. And now this week we're going further west up north, we're going to Bierzo. And that's where we're going to spend 2 weeks. So this week and next week, we're going to spend our time here in Bierzo. And as you can see, geographically speaking, it's much closer to Galicia, which is this yellow region up here. This is where, the Albarino you might have heard of. It comes from Rías Baixas. Ribera Sacra, which is one of my favorite places in Spain. And then Valderas, this area right here, the neighboring region to Bierzo, is also a really fun place. The reason why this matters is that I always said this, but I think Bierzo should really be classified as Galicia, not as Castilla Leon. To me, it's stylistically speaking, great varieties that are grown there, as well as culturally, language that is also spoken here. Even though Bierzo, there's a Leonese Spanish as well as a Galician that's spoken here. So it kind of splits the difference, but for all intents and purposes, really, to me, it's much closely, there are more similarities to Galicia than there's the Castilla Leon. But, obviously, what do I know? Spanish, the power to be, there's the wine authority there, and they say Bierzo belongs to Castilla Leon. And I guess traditionally, historically speaking, the same kingdom kind of ruled this part of the land. So that's probably what happened here, rather than the actual similarity in terms of climate and soil type and all of that. But as you can see, so this is all mountain range that runs on the north part of Spain, right? This is where all the kind of Atlantic influence comes in from the west, that kind of moderating influence from all that ocean, the big body of water, of course, the rain, all of that comes in, but also the inland influence, all that continental climate, the warmth from the middle of a central part of Spain comes up, and this is where it meets. And then that's what creates this kind of really unique pocket within Spain, where you get all that kind of ripeness and concentration, and the development of phenolic development as a flavor, and sugar development that you would expect from Castilla Leon, the inland of Spain, all that warmth that you're going to get, but you also get all that rain and then kind of the cool, the freshness that you would kind of expect from Galicia. And then that's where those two things meet. And then on top of that, there's a lot of slate and different, very stony kind of minerality on top of a very high elevation kind of mountain influence here. It makes for a really, really unique and a fun place for not only styles of wine, but also very much of a quality wine. So it's one of my favorite places. I mean, this whole area, the Galicia to Bierzo, this whole area is probably my favorite region in all of Spain. But particularly in Bierzo is where not only do I find it interesting, but of course the international community, the world, the wine world has been talking about Bierzo for about a decade now. It's really kind of gotten on people's radar if you have been following Spanish wine. The star grape here is Mencia, or red grape, which is what we're going to be tasting next week. So we'll talk more about Mencia next week. One of my favorite Spanish grapes. It's a really fun, kind of a lot of personalities can come out with the Mencia, cool stuff. But for whites, what we're talking about is Godello, which is the main kind of white grape variety, and it's a real nerd magnet. I feel like Bierzo is basically Spain's kind of like a cool kid, like a crossroads, like old vines, steep hills, Atlantic fog, inland sun, all those things that we like and we talk about. Just enough ruggedness to like make every bottle feel like it's coming from some like a dusty hiking boots in a mountain range kind of a feel to it. It's elegant yet rugged, and yeah, it's a really cool stuff coming out of here. But Godeo is what we're talking about, and of course, that's what we're tasting today. So this is 100% Godeo bottling, but it's not just a run-of-the-mill Godeo. This is coming from a single vineyard. So La Claudina is actually the name of the vineyard that this comes from. So within Bierzo, there is a one single parcel, tiny, tiny parcel, less than a half hectare, of parcel called La Claudina, named after the owner who planted it back in 1971. His name is Claudino, but somehow he took on a feminine version of it. So La Claudina is the name of the vineyard, and all the fruit for today's wine comes from that, which is one of the oldest kind of vineyard sites that Raul Perez has been, or his whole family has been working with for a long time. So, all right, let's talk about. By the way, this is what kind of Bierzo looks like, just so that you know, all that mountain range that's hanging out. So we're in the mountains. I mean, it's a beautiful. There's a lot of slate here. So there are a lot of the roofs here apparently are all slates, tiles that are in there. Kind of looks like some picture or scene out of like a children's like a storybook, if you ask me. Looks pretty cool. I've never been there, love to go. But yeah, so this is what Bierzo kind of looks like. Here's a picture of Godeo. Very thin skin, susceptible to mildew. It is hard grape to grow because the yield is pretty low. So a lot of people have kind of moved away from Godeo. But back in the days, back in the Roman days, they, obviously just like the rest of the Western Europe and many parts of the world, it was really the Romans who brought viticulture here. The Pliny the Elder, the very famous Roman philosopher, has talked about Godeo dating all the way back to like 20 AD. So we're talking about a very ancient place that has been growing grapes for a long time. Godeo is already on people's radar for producing this really kind of citrus, aromatic, but also kind of just quality wine, even from back in the Roman times. It did fall out of fashion for a long time and almost went extinct in the 60s and 70s. Makes sense. All the things I mentioned. It's a fickle grape to grow. It's not necessarily an easy grape to grow. It is indigenous to this area. It is also grown in other parts of Galicia, talking about the similarity between Bierzo and the rest of Galicia. So Valderoaras, this is also a very famous region for Godeo. The fruit is very different. So Valderoaras grows much bigger berries and much more fruit kind of forward. Bierzo gets a tiny, smaller berries. It gets a little bit leaner. It's a little bit up more in the mountains. Monterrey also grows a lot of Godeo as well. So these three kind of regions are known for Godeo, but it also is grown in Portugal along the Douro River. But there it's known as a Gouveio. It's a Gouveio, but they're genetically the same grapes that are found here. But anyways, so Godeo, because of the susceptibility to powdery mildew as well as low yield, in the 60s and 70s, they were kind of fallen out of fashion. And then it was replaced with all the kind of international varieties and different varieties, different grapes that were much more fashionable and much easier to grow. But because of that, there are a lot of kind of abandoned as well as these old vineyards that are not really being attended to anymore. And it was people like Raul Perez and his parents and people that have really brought these grape varieties, indigenous grape varieties back by dedicating their family winery to producing only indigenous varieties rather than replacing them with these much more productive international varieties. So anyways, this is what it looks like. This is pretty cool. I personally love Godeo. We featured Godeo before in the wine club. I think it was actually the Galicia month that I featured Godeo. But I think it's one of the Spain's great white wine grape varieties, and I'm not the only one who thinks so. It has been mentioned a lot. It does get compared to white Burgundy a lot. A lot of people say, Bierzo or Godeo is like the white Burgundy Polini Montrachet of Spain. There's a lot of similarities kind of between Chardonnay and Godeo. They're both very, very excellent kind of blank canvas. They're also really good at expressing the French concept of terroir, the sense of place. The kind of expressing the soil, the minerality, and all of that. So you can really do, it also ranges in style from very austere, steely, mineral, salty kind of expression, all the way to very opulent, oaked, big and fat version of it. So just like Chardonnay, it kind of expresses itself in many different ways. But what I do like about Godeo is that, to me, Chardonnay is very neutral. It's part of the reason why you can do so many other things. It's just kind of a neutral blank canvas. But Godeo actually has a very its own aromatics. It's very citrus. There's some tropical depending on the vintage and the warmth or where it comes from. But just like Chardonnay, it expresses the soil and the minerality really well. I just love it. I just think it's incredibly versatile. It's capable of producing these kind of really run of the everyday toppable kind of a drinker kind of a wine, but also be able to produce this kind of really elegant textural wines, but also with this own native kind of innate kind of own aromatic profile, which can range from citrus and chamomile and flower all the way to kind of a stony, like a peach kind of a thing. So super cool. Yeah, I mean, it's for people who really like minerality in their wines, I think Godeo is kind of where you should turn your head to if you're tired of looking at same old Chardonnay or Chenin or Sauvignon Blanc and all of that. I think Godeo produces this kind of really voluptuous, gives you a textural, big, full-bodied wine without lacking any acid. And having that kind of a salinity and then minerality that everybody likes in white Burgundy. So, yeah, if you go down this Godeo path, you're gonna keep hearing about that white Burgundy of Spain all the time because that's what it's linked to. All right, let's talk about who makes this wine. It's this gentleman right here, Raul Perez, the friendly wine wizard of Bierzo, and he kind of looks like one. Here's another picture. I don't know if the Kirsten is on. No, Kirsten is not on the call, but I was going to show. Maybe it didn't download. There's another picture of it where it looks exactly like her ex-husband, Rich Perez. I don't know if you guys remember, but just with a longer beard. Rich had a longer beard and it was Spanish, and just think exactly like him. Anyway, this is a Raul Perez. He was born in Ultreia de Abajo, which is a tiny village in Bierzo, where his family has been tending vines for over 300 years. So his family's been here. He's from here. They've been doing it for 3 centuries. I mean, the wine kind of runs through not only him since birth, but through his family. So. His family made wine, and Raul originally thought he might become a doctor, but then he started reading about winemaking, especially the work of Émile Pénon. He's in case that name doesn't sound familiar, he's a father of or coined father of a modern enology. He was a professor, enology researcher at the University of Bordeaux. He influenced a lot of kind of modern winemaking techniques, revolutionized that French winemaking techniques in the latter half of the 20th century. So a very influential figure, but he started reading his work and got turned on to winemaking. And at age 21, convinced his uncle to let him take charge of the family winery. Then he made his first vintage in 1994 at the ripe age of 22 without any formal training and apparently that experiment completely worked because his uncle tasted his 1994 vintage and then basically handed him the keys to the family winery. So ever since age 22, without any formal training, he became basically head of his family winery, who's been making wines for 300 years, and he was off to the tracks. So in 2000, then in 2005, he left his family business to strike on his own, creating Bodegas y Viñedos Raul Perez, his namesake winery, which quickly became the point of reference for the Bierzo appellation. But not only is he the kind of wizard of Bierzo, but because of his wine style, his ability to kind of analyze and get his wines to express terroir, really, there's a lot of this wine movement called the New Spain, where it has become much more smaller, instead of big and old and age, much more freshness and pulling it back, restrained, and then shows a sense of the place. It tastes more like the place where it comes from rather than a lot of wine making in the cellar. And that movement, you really can't talk about it without talking about Raul Perez. So since then, he's become one of the most influential winemakers, not only in Spain, but probably in the world. His whole thing is basically old vines, native grapes, minimal intervention, letting this place speak clearly instead of smothering everything in oak and other things. He's made wines all over Spain, but Bierzo is still his spiritual headquarters. Rugged, slatey, mountain adjacent, and just weird enough for him to survive there. He's ventured outside of Bierzo. He's also mentored a lot of winemakers, not only Spain and other countries as well. But now he makes wines and consults in many, many different places in the world, including, of course, the Galicia, those 3 places, Monterey, and other places. He does make some Albarino as well, world-class Albarino under the label name Sketch. But he also makes wines in other places as well, in other countries as well. He's often coined as a lot of wine publications has once written articles about him, calling him the best winemaker in the world. Is he the best winemaker in the world? Most intuitive winemaker in the world? All this kind of thing. So he's a bit of a wizard. And the fact that he did all this without any kind of formal training is just fucking mind-boggling to me. He's like one of those people that once in a generation talents, whether it be artists, athletes, or whoever that just can perform without any training. He's like, I feel like he's like that Matt Damon's character, the Will Hunting in Good Will Hunting. He's like they're able to do it without any kind of formal training or education, and he's one of them. And how he does it is I don't know how he does it, but he does it. So it's probably why everybody thinks he's one of the most intuitive winemakers in the world. Anyways, so what is this wine? This is 100% Godello, all organic. It's not certified, but a practicing organic, sourced from one single vineyard of La Claudina, spontaneous fermented in a single 1,500-liter fougera, which is a big oak, basically cask. It's not even barrels, it's ginormous. So it's both fermented and aged there. So aged additional year in fougera with no sulfur or racking. We'll talk more about that when we get to tasting it, but there's a lot of leesiness here. Like when you sit wines on lees, you pick up this kind of savory, cheese rind, leesy, kind of yeasty kind of a thing. But the fact that he didn't rack it off the lees, he sat it on the lees for that long, there's definitely evidence of that winemaking here. But in cooler years, apparently this one, the Claudina, can sometimes get a natural layer of floor to help minimize use of sulfites during winemaking. I could not verify whether 2023 vintage saw any floor or not. I can't really detect any influence of floor. Now that you guys have all tasted sherry last month, maybe you guys can tell me if you get any floor influence on this one. I don't get any. So if there was any floor development on this vintage, it was probably very brief. But I personally don't get it. And I could not verify whether it did or not. But yeah, it's very straightforward. None of these wines are ever really very complicated in terms of wine making. And that's just the whole thing, you know, and like I always found his wines to be like super energetic, alive, raw, and kind of transparent. This is no makeup, no cover up, just no bullshit. It's just grapes done as farmed as impeccably as possible and just done as little as possible in the cellar. And but somehow every single one of his wines really tastes like the place it comes from, which is incredible. And the fact that it's done by somebody who's never had any kind of formal training or education, it just I don't know how he does it. So yeah. Oh yeah, and the name Ultreia is a pilgrim greeting. By the way, Bierzo is in the Camino de Santiago, the world famous the pilgrimage path that runs through Spain, northern Spain. It goes right through Bierzo. So this is right in the pilgrimage path. So Ultreia is a pilgrim greeting associated with the Camino de Santiago, roughly meaning onward/beyond is what that means. In case you. All right. So what I got? Any questions about any of that before we move to tasting? Excellent. Let's taste the wine. Who wants to take the appearance?
I'll take it. That's all I can do because mine is still chilling. I did not. I put the wine in 10 minutes after wine club started. So it's going.
It's all right.
It's been a rough time. All right. This wine is clear.
This wine is clear.
Super clear. I feel like it's a very pale yellow.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot going on here in terms of color. I mean, yeah.
I could like read through it.
Yeah, I call this about pale, like lemon.
Yeah.
Like not a whole lot of color. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Any other observations?
No.
Yeah. No. No sediments in mine, no bubbles, nothing else. Cool. Easy peasy.
Easy. I'll do the nose too. I can do the nose. It's just the taste that's like it's too. Like, I just tried it. I was like, should I put a couple? Like as you're like, this is the Goodwill Hunting of wine. Should I put a drop of ice in here? I stopped myself. That's how warm it is. Unless someone else wants to go.
Take it, Sarah. Take it for us.
Okay. It's clean.
This one is clean. This one is sound. Intensity.
Medium plus. Medium plus. I feel like I get it like an inch off.
Yeah, I'm not here. Yeah, so I'm gonna call this a medium plus as well. So I will also say this. So this is my second glass. I drank a glass with my dinner, but this wine really, more than anything, one, if you haven't decanted it, I would say decant it. The air really opens this wine up. And two, if you pull this straight out of the fridge, cup it, bring it up to temp, because when it's super cold, this wine really locks everything up, more than anything else, because it's like so much minerality, so angularly cut that there's nothing else really. It just seems like you're tasting all the structure if it's too cool. So make sure you bring it up to some temperature, slightly cooler than like room temperature, 55 degree, cellar temperature, and then give it some air. Oh, and the one thing I forgot to mention in the winemaking was this is a blocked malolactic. So this did not. So Raul intentionally stopped malolactic. So this wine did not go through malolactic fermentation. So this is 100% malic acid essentially is what, which is what gives it that kind of angular cut to the wine. All right, nose clean and sound, intensity medium plus. Let's go to the second layer.
I definitely get flower.
Yeah, name it. What do you get?
Yeah, like honeysuckle.
Yeah, some honeysuckle. I get some like fresh chamomile, not like the dried like tea chamomile. But fresh chamomile. There's some like yellow flowery kind of thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say like maybe even elderflower a little bit.
Yeah.
Although it's been a while since
There-
I've had
there's
it.
some, yeah, but there's some definitely like some pretty floral thing for sure. Touch of that. Any green?
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like it's some pear.
Yeah. I know nobody fucking knows what quince is, but to me, I get a little quince. Quinces are like when pear and apple had a bastard child that is very aromatic. It's quince. But yeah, I get a little bit of quince, like touch of a quince, pear, yeah, pear drop, that kind of thing. Yeah, absolutely. Any citrus?
Lisa put the name of a flower I don't know in the chat. Osmanthus.
Let's see. I have no idea what that is either.
Okay.
Osmanthus?
Just another osmanthus. It's just another flower.
Okay.
Stone fruit.
Any
sorry,
before we get to
skip
stone
over
fruit, do you got any citrus?
Skip citrus. Oh yes, definitely citrus. Lemon.
Yeah. Definitely got some lemon peel here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then some like stone fruit sweetness in it, I think, like peach.
Yeah, I get like white peach, not like a yellow ripe peach,
Yeah.
but like white underripe, maybe like donut peach, very like a subtle kind of a white peachy smell, not like really ripe, nectarine kind of a thing. So
Yeah.
tropical fruit.
No.
Yeah, I don't get a lot of tropical here. You can sometimes get tropical with the Godeo depending on where it comes from. But
This might be crazy. Maybe like tropical candy, like, or I don't know. Like a
part of
like
me was like maybe like underripe pineapple, maybe a little bit like salted pineapple, but to me, yeah, it's still very much in the citrus, green fruit, touch of that stone fruit. Yeah, this was good.
I feel like I smell like a haichu candy, but also I've been having a lot of those lately.
Okay.
But I kind of get like a I don't know, like a fruit candy.
Yeah.
No red fruit, no black.
Nature of the fruit.
No dried. Nope. No. Oh, sorry. What?
Nature of the fruit. Is it cooked? Is it ripe?
Very.
Underripe?
I feel like it's fresh.
Yeah, it's super fresh. And honestly, if anything, this is like just maybe, I don't want to say underripe. It's like but it's beginning of the season ripeness. It's not peak season. It's not end of the season. It's just at the beginning. And this is kind of like what I was saying earlier, where Bierzo gets really interesting is that you get all the heat and the warmth from Castilla y León coming up, but you also get the cool wind and the rain coming from Atlantic, and you kind of meet. So you get this kind of development of fruit. It's definitely not underripe. It's not green. It's not underripe, but the fruit itself, because it gets moderated by the Atlantic influence, it's not the super ripe peak season fruit. It's usually just at the beginning, just as it's starting to ripen. Kind of a deal. That's why like I don't yellow peach, I get like white peach, very, very like hard white peach, not even like a soft one. So herbaceous, herbal, any savory?
No.
Place?
No.
Yeah.
I mean, like, there's definitely like minerality, and like I said, I also feel like I smell like some type of like fruity, chewy candy that I can't put my finger on, but I think it's haichu. Okay.
And then the minerality?
Yeah,
I get like a ton of minerality spitting off this. A ton of wet rock, like just rockiness all over. Cool. Any secondary? Any tertiary?
I could be talked into. I feel like maybe like I could be talked into maybe butterscotch if I really like close my eyes. Like I don't know. I don't know. Like I said, like kind of that haichu candy. Like I feel like there's something like kind of sweet happening in the.
Okay. I mean, this does touch oak, but it's not. None of it's new oak. It's very much like old neutral oak, big Foudre. So like, I don't get any new oak smell, but maybe this.
That's it. Cotton candy. Yeah, cotton candy.
Cotton candy, white chocolate. Huh? Okay. That's true of you. That as I mentioned, some sort of like a confectionery, really sweet kind of a thing. Okay.
Yeah, but also mine's like freshly opened and not very cold at all.
Yeah. Okay. Any tertiary?
I don't think so.
Yeah, this one is way too young.
No.
It's too young to be giving any of this tertiary thing. If anything, if this did see any floor kind of influence, you could say maybe some vintage. I obviously do not get any influence of a floor on this one, but maybe some of you do. But to me, this is very much in the primary. But excellent. Way to knock out two. You got the appearance and the nose. All right, you get to pick the next person for the palette.
I'm going Joe. I liked your cotton candy call. I want to see what else you got.
Well, it was really Alex here who called all
Nice
that.
job.
Yeah, you're right. You're pretty good at this, despite this.
No.
Anyways, yeah, let's get going. So,
All right, let's start with the palette. Sweetness.
yeah, so it's dry.
This one is dry. Acidity.
There's some good acidity on this. They call it medium plus. No tannin.
This is what I like about Bodeo. I mean, you guys are talking about you guys are even getting confectionery stuff. I don't personally get any confectionery stuff, but the like fruit here is not underripe anything. Like there's a lightness.
It's kind of like the brightness of the fruit. For that it's so kind of fresh. It's almost to a tropical candy.
Yeah, fresh, bright, and all of that. But it keeps it just naturally has high acidity. We'll talk more about the body as well, but there's some body and then the fullness to this thing as well, but yet this does not lose any of the acidity. So yeah, medium plus acid. Tannin, obviously, we don't have to talk about. Alcohol.
I like medium low, I guess.
Yeah, let's say like medium, maybe 12, 12.5. Oh, it's 13.5.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
Okay. There you go.
Fair enough.
better.
Body, I think it's got some body.
Mm-hmm.
For a white, I call it like a
Yeah.
medium minus body.
Yeah, let's go call this like a medium.
Yeah.
That's another thing again. Like what I meant earlier was Godeo being like this textural thing is that it just naturally has this like phenolics and some of the body in there. So it's never like gonna be like super thin, watery, like light bodied wine.
Right.
And that's what I like about it. Is that it has that some of the weight, some of the viscosity and the weight, the volume or in the body, yet while maintaining all the citrus, the high acid, but never lacking any the ripeness and concentration. Moves we don't have to talk about. Flavor intensity.
There's a lot of flavor going on here. I call this medium plus.
Yeah, I'm gonna call this a medium plus as well. It's very expressive. Here's the thing, like the fruit here is a little different from what we've been tasting, right? Like even yet last week's fruit is very ripe, very, very peak season. This is much more, like I said, the very beginning of the season coming in. Everything is just very, I don't want to say subdued, but it's just very elegant. Like nothing is like punching in the face. Everything is just kind of elegant, but it does not lack concentration. Like it's expressive. You can taste everything very clearly. It's very linear, and all of that. By the way, had this wine gone through malolactic fermentation that normally you would see, the body would be much fuller. Most of the Godeo will be at least medium going up, but the fact that malolactic was blocked is what gives it this kind of the kind of an angular, much more leaner cut, kind of a feel vibe to the wine. All right. Do you confirm everything that Sarah said? Was there anything else that pops up?
More or less, we got like kind of like a lot of potpourri. And I don't
Sorry,
know what,
wait, hold on. I gotta. What are you talking about, Un, with the cut? What like the
So
mouthfeel, kind of?
yeah, it's like a mouthfeel is kind of what I'm talking about. It's more of so there's certain
Like
wines
not tannins or grip, not tannins,
right,
but some
right.
other
No, I'm
type
not
of
talking about
feeling.
tannins. Yeah, I'm talking about more of what I don't know if you're on that call with Raja Par, my professional hero, but he was talking a lot about how when he tastes wine, he thinks about the shape of acid and the shape of wine. All right. And some of our round is circular, some of it is like square, and some of it is like triangles, like very sharp corners. And to me, this wine, like certain wines that you taste, like if you're tasting like Southern Rhone whites, like Viognier, Roussanne, Marsanne, these kind of wines, it's very big, which is like it's very round, it's voluptuous, it's big and fat, right? But this wine is like Germanic in its expression, people with cut jaw lines and like very angular facial features, things like that. It's very sharp and cut, like very clearly cut, not like round and soft.
The German expressionism of wines.
Yeah, exactly. In the mountains of Spain.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
It's mostly about the acids and the mouthfeel, but also
Yeah,
kind
a
of
lot of it
figured
has to do with acid for sure. Without the acid, there's no way you're gonna get that kind of an angular cutness. Especially, yeah, if you don't have acid, the wine will feel much more like blah and like just round.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you. Sorry, Joe. I interrupted you. Potpourri.
all good. Yeah, I mean, as far as the flower character, whatever makes potpourri, I don't really know, but it's a little like perfumey potpourri
Okay.
kind of nature. But yeah, the honeysuckle, the germ elderflower, and geranium.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else?
Green fruit. Um,
Talk about like pear, quince.
yeah, I think it's more just sort of tropical fruit driven. I think
Honestly, now that
very pineapple-y driven.
yeah, now that I'm tasting it, I'm getting like salted pineapple, but not like super ripe pineapple, like just
Yeah,
again like that. It's like beginning of the season fruit,
yeah,
but
just like a little underripe kind of.
yeah, exactly. Um, anything else?
Not really. Yeah, I would say yeah, like you mentioned, it's a little before ripe. Um, as far as herbal and other, uh,
I would say there's herbs.
there's definitely
Would you say,
a
Alex?
touch of minerality on this guy.
Yeah.
Not a lot though. Not for me anyway.
Dude, I think there's so much minerality going on here. So not only do I get like wet rock, actual like rockiness on this wine, but there's also salinity here. Like it's salty.
Yeah, there's a salinity here for sure.
Yeah.
Like it's a savory wine for sure.
Exactly. There's a solidity. Also, and now that my wine's been open for a bit, it has kind of mellowed out. But when I first opened this and tasted it, I got so much of this kind of cheese rind, like very savory, kind of like that evidence of that non-racking lees aging, just letting the wine sit on the lees for like a year. Um, it has kind of gotten away, which is interesting to me. That I would think it would get even more exaggerated or more expressive, but the fact that I see a lot more of the actual fruit come out now that with the wines opening up, and then less of that is interesting to me.
Yeah, I opened it right before the call.
Yeah, but I agree with everything that Sarah called out and what you're calling out. I'll just add more salinity, and on the palate, I definitely get this salted pineapple kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Cool. Finally, the length. How long is the finish?
Uh, it's a long finish on this guy. I call this like medium plus. It kind of it sticks with you. That acid just sort of holds. Sure.
Agreed. Yeah, I get a little bit of that savory kind of a cheese wine thing at the end as I sit with the wine. Maybe a little oxidative touch.
Yeah,
So yeah,
that salt and acid just sort of lingers very well.
yep. I'm gonna call this medium plus as well. Conclusion. Bring it home for us. How good is this wine? Would you age it?
I would say I call this good. I call this very good.
Yeah. I think this wine is very well balanced, right? I don't think there's
Yeah,
anything
I
here
think
that's
it's great. Would I age it? I don't know. It has some of that body and acid, but like, what is this? A 23? I don't know. A couple years, but I think it's pretty drinkable right now.
yeah, no, I think it's drinking beautifully now. It has good acid, medium plus.
Stuff in there in like 2 or 3 years, but I don't know.
I don't know. I have a feeling this wine would actually be interesting just because of that lees aging part. I'd be curious to how that turns out. I do think the wine right now, like to me, this wine feels very fresh and young right now, and it's delicious. But because it already has a little bit of the secondary popping in, and having it, and there's such a good concentration of the fruit. I think this would be actually a good candidate for aging. I don't think it's a super long aging, but I think once this has some of that tertiary come in, I think it may get interesting. When that's going to come in, I don't know. I haven't had much experience with the aged Codeo. I actually found an article where Raul Perez himself was talking about the ageability of his wines, and he talks about, well, we haven't been doing this for long enough where I can say how long we can age it for. But he said he opened a wine from 2004 and it was drinking beautiful. So, but then every winemaker thinks their wines can age much longer than other people can. At least that's been my observation. But I don't think this wine's going to fall apart anytime soon because that medium plus acid.
Yeah, no, I think it could hold for a while. I just don't know how much it's going to develop. But
Yeah. My inclination is probably like 5 to 8. I'd be curious to where this wine is in like 5 years, 6, somewhere around there. And then I'll make a call right there whether to just drink from the rest of it quickly or hold on to it further. But I don't think this wine is gonna fall apart anytime soon. Let's put it down. Cool. Any questions?
Can I ask you a question about decanting?
Yeah.
So I put this in our wine decanter that I've only ever used for red wine, and it has like a very wide bottom. And I just don't know if like there's something else that you would recommend for decanting white wine, or what your thoughts on that are.
Nope. The wider the better. The whole point of decant, well, there are 2 reasons why you decant. One is to remove sediment. So in case of like, if you're drinking really old port, for example, like old enough where you don't actually pull out I don't know if you guys ever seen this, but you don't pull out the cork. You use one of those metal tongs and heat up on a torch, and then you just put it around the neck of the bottle, and then you come back with a towel that's been soaked in like ice water. So you grab it so that that drastic change in temperature cracks that part where it's been heated through the ring, so it cleanly breaks. That's because you don't want to disturb the bottle at all, but there's so much sediment in there. And then you pour it out over like a flashlight or a candlelight, looking at the neck as it pours out until the sediment starts coming out and you stop. But there's always going to be a little bit of sediment and wine left over at the bottom of the bottle. But anyways, that's one reason to decant, to use a decanter, is to separate out the sediment. But 2, for aeration, is essentially you want as much surface area as possible if you want to decant it faster. So for a decanter, whether it be white, red, even champagne, I'm not a champagne fan. Some champagnes we will actually decant, just because it is it's quite old, and some of the oxygen, the air kind of helps with the kind of re-aerating and bringing out all the aromas in the wine. Which seems weird because, like, you know, why would you want to blow off all that carbonation? So, and you're right, there's some, you lose some level of carbonation, but you gain a lot more complexity in the wine. So, depending on how you look at it, but for the aerating part, which is what we're doing today with this wine, I say that's an excellent vessel to have. Anything that's a wide bottom. So essentially, you're increasing the surface, whether it's red or white. Having said that, you don't need a decanter per se to decant wine. Like, I've decanted wine in pitchers, in like a blender, like a pitcher, like a vase. It's essentially anything where you can pour the wine and then get it to aerate, it will work. And so if you don't have a decanter, that's a wide bottom decanter, like you're maybe traveling, you go somewhere and you taste wine, you know, like wine could be a lot better if you got decanted. Just grab anything, like pitcher or anything, you can pour it in there, get it aerate, and you can do also what's called double decanting, whereas you can put it into a vessel and then pour it back into the bottle. So now it's been out of the bottle, triple decant, or do it one more time to help with the aerating process. But don't think a decanter is any like special device. It's just a vessel to aerate the wine, essentially.
Right, that's interesting. I've honestly just never heard anyone recommend that you decant like white wine, let alone champagne. So I didn't know if you wanted the same like surface area or whatever. That's helpful, but I didn't know if like I wanted the same kind of.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I've decanted many white wines. Yeah, a lot of wines in general are actually just much better having been decanted. Just getting some air in there. It's weird also because a lot of people think that this is really the expensive, high-end old wines are the ones that should be decanted. I actually think the opposite. I actually think the younger wines, especially cheaper wines that are made in like just stainless steel, nothing else, hasn't really seen any élevage, which is the aging in the cellar, just done in a very reductive setting to make it quick and dirty. Those, I think, benefit the most from decanting. I actually think so. That's my little 2 cents of decanting. Any other questions? Cool. Did you guys like this one? Just out of curiosity?
Yes.
Cool. So a lot of people compare Bierzo Godeo to white Burgundy, and I don't know how experienced or familiar you guys are with a white Burgundy. I mean, do you feel like this has some of that white Burgundy-ness?
I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's kind of that same sort of vein, you know.
Yeah.
Little elegant, little angular, little savoriness and floral. I think so.
Yeah, to me, there's this particular bottling is also interesting about Claudina because it's a very singular expression of that one singular vineyard that's growing on sandy clay. The fact that he's able to squeeze this much minerality out of a sandy soil is I don't know how he does it, but there's so much minerality here. But also, particularly this bottling, more than other Godeos I've had, reminds me so much of those Burgundy, but Jura, even Chenin, these kind of really angular, high acid wines. So yeah, I can see why it gets compared to that a lot. But there's also know that not Godeo is the same, just like Chardonnay is not the same. If you like this bottle and you go to a shop and get a bottle of Godeo, it may be a complete different expression. Sometimes they put new oak on Godeo, so you may get a very different, like opulent, big, full-bodied kind of expression. So don't think that this is all Godet is the same. You really kind of have to do your homework and ask around to see what kind of stuff. Any other questions? Excellent. Well, let's play everybody's favorite game. How much do you think this wine is on a retail shelf? How much would you be happy to pay for this on a retail shelf? Made by a wizard who was once named the best winemaker in the world. This is not his entry-level stuff. This is a single vineyard, less than a half-hectare vineyard. Comes from there. There were only 2,500 bottles of this wine made each vintage. So we're talking about very, very small production. So how much do you think this would be on a retail store? $27, $35. All right, all right. Anyone else? Well, I think this is where you guys may be way off. So this normally on a retail shelf would be, it's gonna come off shocking to you. Just under $73. Yeah. But
thanks for sleeping with the raccoon. We appreciate it.
yeah.
Did it fall truck or something?
Yeah, so this would be $72.99 on a retail shelf normal. But because I was it pays to have worked with some people for a very, very long time. And she knew that I love, I was thinking about Castilla Leon this month and how much I love Raul Perez wine. So I got last of what they had left of this vintage 2023 at a steep clearance sale. So this for us would be $39.50. So almost half is essentially basically what it is. So don't say I never did anything for you guys. So there it is. Do I really think this wine itself justifies $72.99? No, I don't. Do I think there's a lot of Raul Perez branding that you're paying for? Yes. But at $39.50, now that's a completely different model. Do I think this is a $39.50 wine? Absolutely. I think this is an unbelievable wine at $39.50. I don't think it, like, I love this wine. There's something so incredibly elegant, layered. It's not like it's concentrated and expressive without being too loud. You know, it's soft spoken, but it's well spoken. It's transparent. It tastes like exactly where it comes from. Like all the fruit is right, and there's nothing underripe green about this, but it's also not over the top, like super ripe. Again, that Bierzo influence, the mixture of the two places, the Atlantic and the continental, all the minerality that comes through here, like it just, there's something so incredibly, I know that this is like me nerding out on the wine, so incredibly, it's everything that makes me what I love about wine, which is that it's just a snapshot of the place, of that time, with just enough of signature, the handprint of the winemaker, so you know it's from him. It's that. It's everything that is that this bottle. So, anyways, I had a chance to pick this up, so I was like, I gotta do it. So here we are. Any questions? Any opinion about that price?
Okay, sorry to be an asshole. I got FaceTimed by Leah and the baby, so I missed it. What's the price? What's the actual price?
So this on a case club, if there's any left, there will be some left. Would be $39.50 for us, but on a regular normal retail shop, this would be $72.99.
I'm glad I did not put in that ice cube. Wow, you know what?
Yeah.
Fair. It's very good. I mean,
This is interesting. So Raul a lot of these winemakers that have like gotten really popular and have gotten really big and their wines are all allocated. I wouldn't say all of them, but some of them and a few of them have this kind of mentality where like they want to also make sure that they have an entry level stuff that people. It's almost they think of it as their duty to produce wine that every day people can drink on every like daily basis. Because obviously, like $73 wine, you're not drinking this every day, right? I mean, some people probably, but not everybody, or fewer people can. So he also makes entry level wine called Saint-Jacques, both the red, the Menthia, as well as a white from Godeo. And it is unbelievable value, thankfully. It is honestly, I mean, you can find a lot of value in Spanish wine, but that particular wine, that the Saint Jacques red and white, is some of the best value that I've found in terms of quality of what you're gonna get in all of Spanish wine. If that tells you any kind of a semblance how much I appreciate what's there. So, anyways, so you may have the $73 bottle, but you can also have, I think his Saint John Menthia is like, I think he's like set 16, it used to be 16, it's probably like 18 now wholesale. So we're talking about like 27, 26 bucks for a world's best winemaker. But the wine itself is excellent. Anyways, any questions? Any other questions?
So would this be our most expensive retail wine we've had?
No, I don't know if it's the most expensive.
Close to it.
I mean, there was one bottle. It's up there. It's definitely in the top three for sure. I feel like there was a bottle in the Piedmont box that I was able to get.
You got us like a Barolo by accident.
Yeah, I think so. I think there was there was definitely a Barolo in there, but
yeah, that would I recall that. Yep.
that was also high up there. Yeah. Anyways, it's definitely in the top three for sure. But going back to, we were talking about this last week. Charles was bringing this up about a lot of like Spanish whites, kind of like Italian whites, kind of neutral, kind of unremarkable, uncharacteristic. But I think that all changes when it comes to this part of Spain, like the northwest, like Galicia, Bierzo. Like, I mean, to me, this is like such a fucking well-made wine. And then so many Albarinos and different things. It's like so very characterful, a lot of personalities. Yeah. There you go. Any other questions? Cool. Hearing none, I'm gonna stop the recording.